morning, Billy D. Good morning, everybody. Anthony! I knew Anthony Tatum was gonna Tate on in. Tatum! 4-leaf. Makes his own luck, exception Trent. I still have that picture of Trent in my phone. Was he the framer? Wazzy, did I see you? Tell me the truth. Were you framing? Is that what you were doing? You're the framer? Talk to me, Waz. Framers are studly. Yeah, wah, wah. Framers are studs. Carpenters. You have a great day too, exception. Carpenters are studs. You put up 4 walls yesterday, and you have the pre-made rafters. Who's running Rafter Rat? That's awesome. Framers, they don't work with studs, Herb. They is studs. One of the first jobs I ever had when high school, I was, I don't know, 11th grade or something, going into 12th grade, and my uncle owned a framing company. That's all they did was frame residential homes. He had 3 or 4 framing crews. I ran the field saw. I was the guy that just sat there all day long with just like an 18-inch blade field saw, just cutting and packing lumber to the different lots. My uncle was mad at me if I couldn't jog with 8 studs piled on one shoulder. So a stack of 8, cut off to like whatever, 96, and you've got to jog. If you're walking, yep, the old crosscut saw Herbs. And if you're walking, you better not be talking. Yep, packing lumber all day long. Little 17-year-old kid trying to make the rugby team. How do you like that one? Good old stuff. Formative years. And then I remember when he taught me how to do layout. It's like, hey, you're kind of a sharp kid. I'm going to teach you how to do some layout. So, layout. 5 starts to scissor. No, I'm not even joking you, Ozzy. 8. It had to be an 8-pack. If you weren't doing 8, they didn't want you to pat. They wouldn't let you run. Put someone else on the saw. I'll be right back. Something just got delivered to my front door. I'll be right back. Back when they gave you the red wax pencil, the square, and a tape measure, and said you can start teaching you how to read prints, and you can start doing layout with me, nephew. And we could lay out so many houses in a day. Anyways, that's a good old stuff. Hey, we're gonna learn about grain and jars and that stuff today. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I'm not going to spend an hour and a half goofing around when there's stuff to learn this morning. I am so glad to see everybody here this morning. Derek Anderson, we're glad you're doing better and better and things. Gosh, Derek's right in the middle of it out there. Let me start with a real quick note on how I ended the program yesterday. It sounded like I was angry, and I was definitely emphatic. I was definitely volume up, and oftentimes that's not a good way to communicate this loudly. So I apologize for the volume of my message yesterday, but I can't apologize for the message. I'm not going to get further into it today. But I did look at it through the lens yesterday. You know, for an hour after the show, I was like, that was pretty, Pops, you were pretty loud. You were pretty emphatic. And I started running the words that I used through the filter of, was what I said impeccable? For me, it was. I didn't say anything that wasn't true or that didn't come from my heart, and nothing that I said was directed at a person to hurt them. I didn't make any direct connections to any people, parties, persons, anything. I stated my universal facts that I run from. So I was impeccable. I, again, the filter, I ran through that. Another filter was, I'll be honest with you, was I doing my best at the time? Yeah, I was. Even though I was loud, I was doing my best to like communicate. Later on, I look back, I go, you know what? You could have even done better. So that's my lesson. Even though you do your best, look back and go, you know what? Even I think I was doing my best. I could have done that better. And the better would have been not as loud and not as forceful. Just say what you have to say and move on. And for that, I appreciate your guys' patience as I learn to grow. My message stays the same though. Please we shouldn't let anything divide us ever of any kind, let alone when human lives are dying. And what I felt yesterday, looking back, there was a righteousness to it, my level of righteousness, wherein I'm saying we're trying to teach each other to fight these domestications, these programs that are put on us. Anytime we're talking about this guy against that guy, you got programmed. I hate to admit it. I don't want to, like you, we got programmed. Anytime I'm considering this group versus that group, I got programmed. And that's the thing I'm fighting against here. I want the most simple program of just tell the truth, do your best, be kind, don't take things personal. That's the program we should be on. Everything else, we're getting fed and we're following it along like there's somebody up our ass as a puppet. We're their puppet. Well, you get out of my ass. I'm not playing anymore. I don't get puppeted around. So whenever I hear somebody say, this guy did that against this administration versus that, you don't know any of that. The only place you got that information, here I go loud again. The only place you got that information was from our media. That's who fed that information to you, programmed that into you. You chose it too because you go to that program to listen to it. And then you let it come in. And then you accept it as an agreement. Then you go out and you spew it out too. And then when we do that, we're spewing what the media implanted in us. We don't know. We never did the research ourselves. We'd never been there. We don't know the facts. We're just listening to other people's crap and then regurgitating it with our perspectives. And that's so wrong. That's exactly what we're saying. Don't be that person. Don't be that society. And then we're being fed it from the media. And why is the media feeding that perspective to you? Because they're getting paid for it. Who's paying them? We are. We're actually paying them to feed this to us. And the media is so screwed up now that there's 8 different channels, each one with its own perspective. None with a full spectrum and just going to be honest and tell us an impeccable truth. Each one is going to tell you from the perspective that they know the shopper's going to come and listen to them. And we buy the product. I love what Ernie just said. We're the product. We buy ourselves. So don't buy into this stuff, you guys. Buy into the fact that there's somebody dead floating down the street, a residential street floater. That could be that's somebody's grandmother. That's somebody's mom. But I'll tell you what, let's politicize the corpse. Okay. Enough said on that.
See, Derek?
What?
See what happens? See what happens, Derek?
What'd you do? Oh, no.
Derek is always trying to get me to read from the politics book. I'm not reading from the politics book, Derek.
Anyways, back to work. You guys, let's practice loving each other. Okay, look, we got the kid all fired up now. Let's practice loving each other. Let's not practice dividing each other. I don't even, you know what? I'm going to say one more political thing, and then that's it. One political thing, and that's it. Why do we even have a Democratic Party and a Republican Party? Independent Party. Why do we even have the word party? We automatically said we're divided. What if we threw all party considerations out? Everybody's in the same group. You don't get to label yourself. You don't get to call it. It's just based off of what you're doing, the actions you're taking for your constituencies. Throw those labels out. Because the minute we take a label, we're stuck on a side. It's the most disgusting thing we could possibly do. And we started this thing 300 years ago because, they were following a parliamentary situation. We've never got away from the bicameral system. And we'll never get away. And as the humans evolve, we're getting more and more fractured. So my final thing, just get rid of the D's and the R's and the reds and the blues and the purples and let's just take care of each other. Enough said. No more politics, bud. Oh yeah, one more politics. One more. Notice their final thing is people that don't have skin in the game. Everyone has an opinion. Everybody has opinions. They're entitled to them. We teach each other that. And we gain our opinions from all that crap. I listen to certain people's opinions more than others. I listen to certain people's opinions more than others. A person's opinion that I give zero value to, zero, is someone that has zero skin in the game. Zero skin in the game. Your opinion is yours. I respect that you have the right to have it, but I will gain nothing from it. I can gain nothing from it. I give it no weight. The more skin you have in a game, the more I'm listening to your opinion. Doesn't mean you're right, doesn't mean I'm right, but I'm listening. I'm paying attention to somebody that's got skin in the game. If you don't have skin in the game, it's really hard for me to give it a lot of weight. 99.9% of us have no skin in that game. We have no investment in it. We're just sitting here being fed information from the media. We're not impacted by it. It hasn't touched us. It might get a little rain. A friend that has a flooded house. But you're still doing fine. But you got an opinion. I don't even want to listen to your opinion if you can't at least donate $5 to a cause to help that situation. Then your opinion is worth about $5. And which is a lot more than most. You now, actually, in my opinion, my opinion is you now have a right to at least peep something. You sent a 5 spot somewhere, and when you beep, I hope it's kind. I hope it isn't divisive. Just because you spend $5 doesn't mean you get to spread hate. You get to put in about $5 worth of kindness now. But how much skin do you have in the game? Well, I heard it on I heard it on media. I'm not angry for 1 second, Ishao. I'm not angry. When I communicate something, I strongly feel I get loud and a little strident, but not for 1 second am I angry. Not for one. I don't feel anger over this. I feel like sorrow and righteousness. Not my own personal righteousness, but befuddlement. Why would our world live like this with each other? And yet, it's the human condition. Okay. Put skin in the game. Your opinion's worth something to Pops. Let's move on. I spent more time on this. I just wanted to apologize for yesterday, and I started it all over again today. Because I rarely visit this topic about anything political. People here don't even know my political persuasions. You have no idea. I've never discussed them. I don't tell you what I think about this guy or that guy. I don't do that. I don't even do this. I'm watching Milton getting ready to tear another 400, 500, 600 people's lives apart. I mean, more than lie, kill people. And I'm also watching, nobody's stopping the divisiveness. We're continuing to use that to divide the country. Shame on this country and the leadership. All the way around. Now, can we do better? Between us right here, let's just grow mushrooms. Let's treat each other with goodness and kindness. Let's ripple that goodness and kindness. If we stay away from some of those topics, I don't sound as angry that I'm not. I care too deeply, is what it is. I care. I care about what we're doing to one another. I wouldn't put my time and my effort into this if it didn't matter to me. And because I have the platform, I believe I have the right to stridently voice my opinion, and I have a very small skin in the game. Very small compared to anybody else out there. Okay.
Pizza is a role-playing game. This one starts in a small town on the edge, where a library is guarded by a mythical winged lion. He's got a pretty sweet grill, too. Inside, the apartments have lovely views and fire fashion. This woman is reading a book on a coffee farm gone wrong. Also, there's some drama in the bathtub. Or at least this is always how I imagined my bubble baths. With pirates, of course. These are the water pirates.
This is
and
insane.
their captain can summon miniature planets from his hat. One of them is a small desert world. There you can find an oasis that might look familiar to you. I drew a pizza as a role-playing game. This one starts in a small town on the edge, where a library is guarded by a mythical winged lion. He's got a pretty sweet grill, too.
Isn't this great?
Inside, the apartments have lovely views and fire fashion.
That is so creative.
This woman is reading a book on a coffee farm.
Is that what it's called, B? Hendrix?
Also, there's some drama in the bathtub. Or at least this is always how I imagined my bubble baths. With pirates, of course.
Good job, JW.
These are the water pirates, and their captain can summon miniature planets from his hat. One of them
you're
is
sounding like a
small
physics
desert
professor.
world. There you can find an oasis that might look familiar to you. I drew a pizza as a role-playing game.
Isn't that cool?
This one starts in a...
Isn't that cool? I have never seen any one of those kind of things before. It's the creativity in it just blows my mind. You want to see something else very creative? You guys ready for this? So you guys know Pops is a wiener file, right? What's a wiener file? Quick. Somebody tell me what a wiener file is. What's a wiener file? What's Pops? What's a wiener file? Click, Greenie. Pops is a wiener file. What's that? Okay, close. Corey, a hot dog lover. That's absolutely right. And not just lover, but I study them, right? I research them. Okay, I'm a hot dog lover. I'm a wiener file. Okay? And I study them, I research them. One of the most important things, I recently read an article, the 8 best ways to cook a hot dog. 4 chefs, like Michelin level chefs, all got together and they decided we're going to pick one of these 8 ways to cook a hot dog, and we're going to tell you which is the best of the 8 ways. They couldn't agree. The 4 of them couldn't agree. 2 of them eventually came up with grill. Like, duh, right? Anyways, it was a great article. I continue to research. I research mushrooms quite a bit. I do a little bit of, you guys have seen some micro modeling. But I spend a great deal of my time researching, burn them, Vegas, burn those babies on the grill to where they're like just black little logs. And then when you bite into it, it's perfect. Okay? That's my opinion. And I have skin in that game. Lobotomize, that's creepy. No, I do not. But I do research wieners. Okay? So wieners, here we are. I've recently come up with a new delivery system. Okay? I think it's important when you're at a barbecue that you're ergonomically, you want to grill your hot dogs ergonomically, meaning simply but comfortably and, easy to reach, easy to use, ergonomic use. Okay? Are we ready? Are we ready to see what my research has come up with? Who wants to see my research for probably a smart way to, let's just say, grill hot dogs? Okay? I need 5 people's thumbs up, and then I can do the reveal. Valuable research, nerdy. And I'm doing it for you guys. See, I'll do the research, and then I'll just download it to you guys. Okay? So far, I've seen 3 thumbs up. There's 4. Okay, here we go. All right. Here it is. Okay. There we go. Now, Penny, would you like a hot dog? Penny? Penny, come on over. I'll get you a hot dog. I mean a wiener. Come on over. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs, Kim. Kim, would you like a hot dog? Just like a what the hell? Oh my goodness. Look at the size of those suckers. Those are like more than bun length. I swear to God, those are. Okay? That's the John Holmes grill. They call that the John Holmes grill, I think. Look at these pants. Those pants were like custom made for this. And I don't know, man, but this guy right here is looking like he's having a ball. Oh, those jeans are killing me. Someone custom made those jeans. What do you do when the grill's not in? Oh, gosh, darn it. What do you do? What do you do when you're not wearing the grill? Oh, this is better than talking about floods. I like talking about hot dogs. Give me 5 people that would rather talk about hot dogs than floods. I comfort too. Oh, that's so darn funny. Wait, so was it Derek Anderson? Who was it? Somebody sent me. And goes Derek. Let me see. Wait a minute. It's got to be Derek. Hold on. One more thing. Oh, you guys are such good kids. Okay. Woz, did you see our new pants? What if we're both wearing one? Oh, geez, you kids. Wait. It's got to be. Yep, it is. Okay, so check this out. All right, here we go. Okay, we ready? Hold on. Wiener files. Okay. Now, I've been recently cleaning up the yard, getting it, winterizing it, and getting ready for spring. And when I do spring, see, I have a bird fountain, and we winterize. We sort of put the bird fountain away for the winter because we don't need frozen water and all that business, and the contraction and expansion. I don't want to mess up my bird fountain, so I put it away for the winter. And then I've been thinking I'd like to try something new this spring. Instead of the bird fountain, it's in this little area right here in front of the house. Instead of the bird fountain, is there something I could do different this spring? Out of nowhere, Derek Anderson sends me a picture, and it immediately comes to mind. There it is. I'm going to keep the bird's fountain put away, or I can you give away the bird fountain to somebody that could use it, but I have found a replacement for the bird fountain feeder. Of course, I'm going to give me 5 people that want to see the replacement. Now, with the replacement comes a mission. We're going to need 5 stealthy people. We're going to need 5 stealthy people to help Pops retrieve this object. Okay, we're going to need 5 volunteers for people for help retrieving this object and getting it back to Pop's house, and then we'll be staging it this spring. Okay, are you guys interested in seeing this? By the way, Derek Anderson has already sort of started to pencil together who the stealthy crew should be. But if you feel like volunteering to be on the stealth crew, I think we called it Wiener Ninjas. If you feel like being a Wiener Ninja, before I even show you, would you consider being a Wiener Ninja? Give me a couple of people. Yeah, I'm kind of interested. Tell me the mission. Who would at least consider being a Wiener Ninja? Lakita's in. Okay. 4 leafs. I'm in, Coach. Yeah. Who would want to be a ninja? So we've got plenty of volunteers, actually. Okay. Wiener Ninja. You ready? Woz, you're in. I think we already have you on the team. Wiener Ninja. Do you remember Derek? Derek and I were discussing it yesterday via text. All right. So what are we going to ninja? Are you free? I'm free. I'm glad you're here to see it. Okay. All right. So what happened was over on Route 66 somewhere. Okay. You ready? This just gives you a basic idea. We got Bunyan's statue. We got Paul Bunyan. All right. Okay. We got Paul Bunyan. We got a whole history situation going on. But Paul, well, I'll just show you. Okay? So we're going to go and get this guy right here. We're going to load him up in like a flatbed of some sort. We're going to get him back here to Detroit. All right? And then we'll have him ready for the spring setup. You guys in? Who's in? Let's do it. I'm in. Johnson. We got Lakita, hip, kitty. I do felonies every day. This is nothing. This is nothing. Hip, kitty. That's nothing. Okay. Nothing compared to the felonies we do every day. Derek sends me that. And I said, oh my God, I want him in my yard. And I go, I swear. He sends me the address. He sends me the address to the place. It's in Atlanta, Illinois on Route 66. I said, great, I'm planning a heist. Thank you. And then I wrote, I go, imagine that movie. We can make a movie out of it, you guys. We'd have the Wiener Ninjas, okay? I sent him a picture of a wiener. I'm in an emoji of a wiener and a ninja. I'm dying. By this time, like, tears are coming out of my eyes, just like now. He writes back, he goes, who's the wheelman? That's a good question. Who's the wheelman? Like, so we need volunteers. He volunteered Sandy, because Sandy does so much driving for the group. If you notice, you go somewhere, Sandy's always the one picking you up from the airport or dropping you off. Sandy's probably the wheelman. Okay, so he goes, who's the wheelman? Sandy? He's a heck of a driver. I go, absolutely. I go, now we're planning. I go, I think it's going to take 5 of us. I don't know why I came up with 5. I think it's going to take 5 of us to pull this off. I go, Waz, we got to get Waz. Waz is going to be one of the bodyguards and a wisecracker. The wisecracker. You know how there's always a wisecracker on the crew? There's always somebody that's like, just a wisecracker. I think we got Waz. I said, you're doing the research and planning. You're going to be Derek. Derek's the guy with the headphones on that tells you that you're in trouble just when you need it. I think they wanted Nerdy. Nerdy's in charge of snacks. You're Nerdy. We want your licorice mushroom snacks. Okay? Brock's going to be on the radio. But it might be a broken radio. We're putting a whole crew together. So as soon as we're ready to pull this one off, you got blueprints? Yep. We got maps. We got exit strategies. We got the whole thing set up. So we're gonna do our best to Wiener Ninja Paul. Kitty, you wouldn't believe his licorice mushroom snacks. They're out of this world. So he's gonna have to set us up. Okay, Penny, we might need you to video it. Okay? Give me 5 Ocean 77. Yep. Give me 5 people that like the idea. Give me 5 people that like our idea and think Pop should have that in his yard. Okay? I think we should have that in our yard. Anyways, we're laughing now that we're not flooding, Pops. Okay, stop talking about floods, Pops. Grain spawn. Once you've established some healthy, we're in radical mycology right now. I want to read to you a couple of things. This guy writes it very, 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 very well. Okay, let's get to mushroom class. We're going to go work on our grain spawn. We've already decided we have our liquid culture, or as he calls it here, competitor-free inoculum. What is competitor-free inoculum? It means it means clean LC or clean spores. Okay? Competitor-free. Okay? So it means good stuff. Once you've established some, not contaminated. There you go, Penny. That was the word I was looking for. When it says once you've established it, some of us will make our own. Once you have some coming, the next step is towards cooked sterilized grain. As most species will not fruit on pure grains, this is an intermediary step for fruit body production. Fruit body, the mushroom itself. However, it's recommended as grains provide a cheap, nutrient-dense substrate that the mushroom mycelium can rapidly grow on, ultimately producing a granular spawn that can then evenly be distributed over the soil substrate. A variety of grains can be used, as we discussed yesterday. Millet or sorghum. Actually, sorghum is milo. I take that back. This is just millet. This is rye berry before it had been, this is dry rye berry out of the bag. You'll see after rye berry's been sterilized and prepped, look how much bigger the grains get. I'll show you. See that grain? Compared, that's how it starts out of the bag. After we've prepped it and bagged it or jarred it, that's what it looks like. Because it comes, we're gonna discuss that, it comes so dry from the manufacturer bagger, seed place, that we have to prep it and get water and everything put into it and then sterilize it so it's ready to be attacked by the mycelium. Mycelium won't like this, it won't go for that. Okay? Jars or bags, they both are the same, Shine. To be honest with you, it just depends on what you're doing. We'll discuss that as we go along. So that's the rye berry. And then here's the whole oats. Whole oats are a little bit bigger than the rye berry. You'll notice. Dry, all of these are in the dry state before we've even prepped them or sterilized them. Okay, I thought it would be interesting for you guys to see that. So, a variety of grains can be used. Rye berry, wheat berry, they're very close to the same thing. Millet, as I showed you, milo, those are common choices. Home cultivators also have success with popcorn and whole bird seed. Bird seeds are really neat substrate to use because bird seed, when you get a bird seed, most of them are a mix. There's 5 or 6 different kinds of grains in that mix. Usually your mycelium is going to absolutely love to attack birdseed because it's got all these different varieties of protein. It's a very difficult, birdseed's one of the harder mixes to properly prepare because of the variety of grains that are in a mix. Some of them get overcooked and some of them are undercooked, while the middle amount are cooked correctly if you don't prepare it correctly. So I recommend don't start with bird seed. Practice with some of the basics, and later on you'll get down your timing and the process, and you'll start moving up. Bird seed's probably like, it's like the highest and hardest level to probably prepare. But it's well worth it when you get to it. But don't start out there because you're going to end up making a bunch of messes for a long time, and then you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to go, I don't like doing this. So start with the easiest thing you can. Get a great success under your belt. Do it 2 or 3 times. Keep your successes going, and then throw some practice jars in with it. Okay? All of these grains are preferred due to their low levels of nitrogen and ease of preparation. Many other grains that are out there that have been practiced and other people have tried are too high in nitrogen, the nitrogen, when it's in the jar and your mycelium starting to attack it, the nitrogen that's inside the seed, the mycelium releases that and it creates a heat level inside our jar that's actually higher than your mycelium wants to survive. So we don't want a high level of nitrogen in our grains because as they're being consumed, the gases that are being released in the process are, that's good, tree stump, like it's a thermal gas. It's a higher heated gas than regular grain release. So be careful with that. Grains that are too high in nitrogen, okay? So that's why we stick with some of these basic grains. Somebody's already done all the research and come up with these 4 or 5 type of grains are fantastically good for substrates. And then I've done, back in the day, I was experimenting with every kind of thing you could. But here's how I would experiment. I'll always have something I know that's working, growing. I'll have 10 bags of something or 10 jars of something going. And while I'm doing that, because they're good and they're a process I've already confirmed and it's working, I'll throw 3 or 4 experiments in, and it doesn't cost me time on my process of always having something to harvest coming up in my cycle. Okay? So experiment, but don't take your whole grow and turn it into the experiment. Okay? Preparation, the biggest part of the grain. Here's what happens. When we get our grain from the manufacturer in the bag, they have, and I don't know exactly how they do it, but they've leached every single bit of water out of that grain. Water is the enemy to the grain itself. And if what's happened is the water has starved all of the, here's a word that you want to kind of memorize as a mycologist, endospores. Your endospores are inactive little bacteria that are sitting on the grain, and they'll never activate. They can't unless they get moisture. As soon as they get moisture, boop, they're going to activate, and they're going to start attacking that grain just as if they were mycelium, but they're not. They're a bacteria, and they're going to start turning and contaminating the grain. So endospores are our enemy. Endospores are who we try to kill on the grain before we put our mycelium on top. If our endospore is fighting our mycelium spore, endospore usually always wins and turns everything green. So we want to kill our endospore. That's what we're doing when we sterilize. When I first started out in this about 4.5 years ago, watching the stuff on TV, looking at the techniques that were active 4.5, 5 years ago, everybody pre-soaked their grains. We pre-soaked the grains because we were taught that. I was taught it from the start. It's an automatic first step. We pre-soak our grain because you saw how hard it and dry it comes, and I want to get it wet, okay? But I only want to get it a certain wet. If I get it too wet, too soggy, it's no good. Mycelium won't want it, and it's just going to be a soggy mess sitting in my jar. So what I'm going to want to do, in the old days they taught us, pre-soak this. That'll get it wet, and it'll also do this. It'll activate the endospore. The endospore that's dry and just sitting on there waiting for moisture, as soon as it gets some moisture, and pre-soak means take a bunch of this, put it in a pan, and cover the amount of grain that you've put in a pan by about, an inch or 2 more water. So your grain is sitting in a water bath. You'll notice if you do pre-soak, especially corn, within about 12 hours, you're going to start seeing the surface of the water starting to bubble, starting to froth a little bit, starting to activate. That's the endospores. And whatever's the molecular stuff's going on, the popcorn or the grain is starting to activate. And you're going to see activation literally on the surface of the water. That's pre-soaking. You're bringing those endospores to life. Why do we do that in the old days? And you can still do it, by the way. It's still a very acceptable tech. It's a level of fermentation, Shine. It's the beginning step without all the sugars and yeasts and stuff. But it's an activation of the endospore is what we're doing. Why? Because we're bringing our enemy to the surface so we can kill it faster. That's why. So if we pre-soak, we're also going to drain that water out. So it's all the dirty water carrying all those active endospores, most of them, get drained out, and we flush it, put fresh water on. You might do that once or twice. So you're cleaning the endospores off of your grain, as well as you're preparing the grain, the inner part, to be soft enough to be ready to accept the mycelium when it's ready. That's the whole concept of pre-soak. Okay? The techniques now, and with pressure cooker, et cetera, we don't need to pre-soak. I used to do it automatically because I was taught pre-soak. As soon as I was taught a new technique, the one I'm going to explain to you guys, it eliminates the pre-soak step completely. It's an absolutely unnecessary step. Okay, I didn't want to believe it because I'd been doing it for 2 years and I didn't want to find out that I was just listening to what everybody else said. You don't have to pre-soak. The reason for the sterilization in the first place is to kill those endospores. Okay, so if we do a proper grain preparation and a proper sterilization, the endospore pre-soak wasn't necessary. I will pre-soak my popcorn grains. I'm not doing that so much to activate the endospores right now as I'm trying to get that grain soft enough that I don't have to spend all day boiling it to get it soft. So I pre-soak my popcorn 12 hours. Okay? Any questions about pre-soak? Or why we do it? Or is it necessary? Should we do it? Shouldn't we do it? It's still not a bad thing. Be careful on pre-soak though, because you don't want to overhydrate your grain. So that's one of my always concerns. If I pre-soak it and all of a sudden I forget in 24 hours I come along, now I have this soggy kind of amount that I might have over pre-soaked. So I have removed the pre-soak from our procedure. Okay. We're moving right along. How long an hour for pre-soak? Melody, I'll pre-soak my popcorn grain for 12 hours. All my other grains, I don't pre-soak. In our process, when we're prepping our grain, we're gonna get rid of the endospores that we need to, and sterilization will do the rest. Pops, if you cook your popcorn in the PC for 25 minutes, yeah, that's one of those techs out there, right, Vegas? That popcorn, the popcorn tech for sterilization. I don't sterilize with my pressure cooker. Oh, excuse me, I do, but I prep my grain first before I sterilize. Some people, there's some techniques out there where they're sterilizing in the whole process. I'm going to teach you a basic, simple one. It takes about 30 minutes, and your grain's prepped. Before we talk about the final step and then we give you our recipe, let's look at the jars that we're going to use. Okay? Shine, I think somebody here asked, which is better, jars or bags? When you're first starting out, I recommend jars by far. I didn't switch to bags till about a year ago. And the only reason I switched to bags, it was because I upped my volume. Bags are a little harder to manage. You're going to get more volume out of them at the end of the day, but they're harder to manage. I would absolutely stick with jars. It works a lot better too because you don't have to recycle plastic. You don't have to do any of that other stuff. All you have to do is soap and water at the end of a cycle, and you can reuse your jars all over again. Jars. You need to get yourself a pressure cooker proof jar. There's a Japanese or Korean companies or a couple of Asian companies out there putting out good mason jars. The best mason jars on the business are still and always will be Ball. I'm amazed how long Ball's been a business. They've been around for a good 100 years and they're still a family-owned business. And I was looking at them on the stock exchange recently. Their stock just grows every single year. Just boop, 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 boop. Guess what happened during the COVID? About that 1 year cycle, their stock went up almost like 7%. People at home were buying, not just for mushroom growing, but for canning, for everything, preserving, doing. Ball is out of control. Ball is an amazing business. They're running their business fantastically. And there's always going to be a ball jar around. My mom used ball jars. My grandma used ball jars. I'm using my kids to use ball jars. Ball jar. You're going to want to use, typically, get a wide mouth. Wide mouth. You're going to find out there a regular mouth. They're very hard to get the grain out of after it's colonized. So I wouldn't get that smaller mouth, regular mouth jar. get a wide mouth jar, ball jar. And this is a quart jar. That's the size you're gonna want. Why? Remember I told you we're using 54 quart sterilite tubs as mono tubs? We don't have to do a lot of measuring. We don't have to do a lot of scale work, anything like that. If I take 4 of these jars after they've been colonized, I need 4 colonized jars and my substrate, we'll talk about later. Mix those together. That's what I need in my 54 quart tub. So for every 54 quart tub, sterilite tub that I'm going to start, I want 4 of these jars with grain in them colonizing. Okay? So if I'm going to start 2 tubs in the next few days, I need, 21 days after this is colonized. If I'm going to start 2 tubs tomorrow, how many jars do I need colonized? It's actually around 8 ounces per jar, Herb. That's correct, you guys. Good math. I'll need 8 of these. Okay? It's not very hard to prepare 8 jars of this and have them ready for, have them growing. Okay? If you're going to do 8, you might as well do 10. Because what if two of the jars didn't go well? You can remove 2 of the jars and you still have 8 good to go. Okay? Might as well do, we're going to talk about this. Your pressure cooker typically takes, most pressure cookers, Presto pressure cookers, take 7 of these jars in them. 7. I would run 2 batches. That's what I would do. And or like Herbie says, 12 coming in a flat. So you run 1 flat, you're going to run a cycle of 7 jars, and then you're going to run another cycle. Now you've got all the grain you need to run 2 to 3 tubs. Okay? So get yourself a flat of these. Now, as regarding the lid. When you get them, you're going to get a metal lid. A metal lid that has this jar thing on it, a ball thing on it. It's got a gasket for a seal, and it fits into the rim. That's all you get, and it's really all you need. If you just get this is all you need. What you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to punch a hole in that lid. I just use a nail. You punch a hole right in the center, about 1/8 of an inch in diameter. That's going to be both where you inject the inoculum in, and it's also going to be where your gases are going to escape during colonization. So you need that hole in the lid, and then you need some micropore tape. Micropore tape is something you can get online or you can get at the local pharmacy. It's a breathable tape. It's a tape that seals, but it's also a filter. So it won't air is allowed in and out. So you put a micropore tape over the top of your hole after you've made it and before you sterilize your product. Afterwards, we're going to easily do this. We're just going to puncture that hole with our needle, no problem. And you'll notice this looks like there's more than 1 layer of tape. It's because I had 1 layer on there before sterilization. I punctured it with my needle, shot my inoculum in, and then I covered it with another small piece of tape. That's all I needed to do. Now this jar is sitting there in my colonization tent, colonizing. Easy, simple top. One of the problems at the end of the day with these tops is they start to rust. You're going to get about 5, 8, 7, I don't know, depends on your home situation and everything. But when I'm doing the volume that we were doing, after a while, our lids started rusting. Bothered me, even though a rusty lid isn't that big a deal because it's sterile. It looked bad, and I didn't want to deal with rust. So I moved to the next level. You can use plastic lids. You can buy these online. Make sure that it's a food grade, something that'll fit on a ball jar. And I did the same thing with it. It's just got a hole in there, and it's just got a filter. Super duper simple. And this I could use over and over and over and over and over and over again for about a year. No rust issues, anything like that. Guess what happened though? One time I'm running a batch of jars and almost every single jar went green on me. And I'm like, this is crazy. My technique is the same. I'm using the same inoculums, everything. Why is this batch turning green? I ran another batch, started turning green. I'm like, what's going on? I couldn't figure it out, couldn't figure it out. Eventually it came to me. Let me try, and I cast off the plastic lids that I had been using and put some new lids on. Ran a batch, everything came out fine. What I figured, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty 99% sure, after about a year's worth of pressure cooking every week, the lid itself starts to warp a little bit. And it probably lost its seal. It doesn't come with a gasket, and it doesn't need one when you originally use it, and for many, 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 many uses, but it eventually, I think it started to lose its seal, and it became an ineffective cap. So that's just a note of caution. If you're using plastic lids, eventually they wear out. There's another lid that you can get, and this is the fancy end. All of these, by the way, are Radical Mycologist book. All of these lid types are called airport lids. Airport lids. When you get a jar and it has no hole in it, it's just a jar lid. As soon as we've put a hole in it, it's now an airport lid. First 80 times I heard the word airport lid, I keep thinking there's an airplane gonna land on top of the lid. I don't get it. Airport. It's just a port, a hole, for allowing air in and out. It's an airport lid. So this is an airport lid. This is an airport lid. This is not an airport lid. Okay? There's another airport lid. This is a fancy airport lid. It literally has a port. This is an injection port, a self-healing injection port. We're gonna poke our needle in there, and when we pull the needle out, it automatically seals back that hole. And then how's it gonna breathe then, Pop? It breathes through this filter. It's breathing in and out, and I can change every time I clean my filter, every time I clean my lid, I change my filter. Polyfill. Simply polyfill. So that's the fancy guy, and it's actually a very good one to use because I can, with this guy right here, and the self-healing, I don't even need to be in front of an air filter, in front of a laminar air flow hood or a still air box. And with this guy right here, keeps things pretty sterile when I go to inject and I go to pull out the injection. So this jar right here, when I have these together, I'm able to inject and inoculate this jar of grain before I'm even in front of some sterile flow hood. Well, I could do it right here on the bench. You guys have seen me do it before here. Okay, so that's a discussion of the jar types that you're gonna want, preparing your lids to get ready, the type of grains that we have that are available, and if you'll allow me, tomorrow we'll pick up on, let's prepare the grain, how do we soak it, how do we cook it, how do we jar it, how do we sterilize it and get it ready, boop, to stick the needle in. Okay, what did Pacers say? I love fantastic ideas. I'm going back to Pacers. Bookmark, okay. All right, so the reason I'm sort of rushed through that, we spent a good time on that. We are, tomorrow, we'll finalize grain prep, get all of that stage done, and we'll be ready to move to our next step. Okay, you guys flying in there with me? Everybody still in here with me? Can I spend 10 minutes talking about not taking things personal? Do I have an extra 10 minutes here, you guys? Give me 10 minutes. And we'll talk about not taking things personal. We'll talk about the stuff we have highlighted. How's that? Okay? We're doing great work here. That a lot of people, some of this is just old hat information for some of us. There's a lot of people out there that's just filling in gaps of information that were about this prep work. And there's new people, people that have never heard any of this stuff before, and we're putting visuals to things they've read and stuff like that. And it's so exciting because I know, well, I'm already experiencing it. It's coming to me. How many of you guys are picking up the old deal and getting your syringes? Get out there, hardware store, where else? Bed Bath and Beyond, all of those places, anywhere you can get yourself a dozen of these ball jars. Man, you get some ball jars. I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you what. If somebody gets a flat of ball jars, listen to what I'm going to tell you. Okay? Get a flat. That's great, Quonksy. If you get a flat of ball jars and you don't have a syringe of liquid culture and you don't feel like you can quite afford it, send me a picture of your flat of ball jars and I'll send you a free liquid culture syringe because I know that you're committed. I know you've got skin in the game. Okay? So if you want to get yourself a flat of ball jars, get a nail, get some micropore tape. It's all you're going to need. And then, but where am I going to get my liquid culture? We'll get you some. All right. Don't take anything personal. We're on page 56. That's right, Granny. Let's get them going, right? Let's pump them. And you're not even, hey, you're just getting a gift in the mail. Nothing, hey, I don't know. Somebody just sent me this. Okay? The 4 agreements. We are on page 56 at the bottom. Don't take anything personal. Did I take it personal? Am I taking it personal that, well, I don't want to talk about the flood. Am I taking it personal that people are dividing themselves over this flood? I asked myself, because I was running that through the filter of my agreements with myself. And I said, I didn't make it about me. I was really making it about us. I didn't take it personal. I took it us. I wonder if that's as bad. Maybe we're not supposed to take anything at all. I don't know. I know I wasn't taking it personal. I was taking it us. Is that a rationalization? Maybe. I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do, but I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to learn. Don't take anything personal. Because by taking things personal, you set yourself up to suffer for nothing. This is such a true statement. I went to bed thinking this, and I didn't know it was in today's reading. Humans are addicted to suffering. That's why we do that division stuff. We're addicted to it. That's why we go to the program that feeds us with the information we want. It keeps us getting pumped up the way we want. There's 8 different channels you could choose to get your information from. You go to the one that feeds it to the way you want. It's giving you your fix the way you want. We're addicted to it. And that's just information from media. We're addicted to gossip. We're addicted to hurting one another. It's the human condition. It's like, that's what gets me righteously angry, because once we know it, we can change it. We can, but if we don't know it, I don't hold us responsible. I can never be responsible for something I'm not aware of. That's how I feel. Not ignorance is bliss, but if I didn't know sincerely, I'm not judging you and taking you, putting a death sentence on you. But if you knew, and you just deliberately, I have to look at you differently. I have to judge that act different. We're addicted to suffering. I was. I know exactly what was creating my migraines, and I'd keep doing it. Instead of changing my lifestyle. Instead of stopping being, climbing the ladder. I'll pay for it with suffering. Climbing the ladder equaled suffering, but I was willing to pay. I made other people suffer. The people's backs I climbed on. The people I would gossip about so the boss would think I knew more. I got to tear someone down to build myself up. That's normal. That's addiction to suffering. Being depressed and you know it, and you know you could change it, but I'll stay here instead of get up and go do something. You're addicted to your depression. You're making that deliberate choice. Deliberate choice is an addiction. There's positive addictions and there's negative addictions on this planet. In general, we're always going to be addicted to something. Currently, I'm addicted to doing my very best to be impeccable, to learn to be better, to find myself falling short, yelling a message I should have whispered. Learning. I'm addicted to learning. I'm addicted to not being right. My addictions have changed, but I still have them. I just want healthy ones. I'm addicted to helping. It feels better. We're addicted to things that make us feel good. Or we're addicted to suffering and pain. One or the other. There's so many people, nerdy. I'm addicted to nerdy smile. There's so many people that are addicted to their mental health. They're not doing a thing about it. Humans are addicted to suffering at different levels and to different degrees. And we support each other in this. We support each other. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, poor, well, that's how, yeah, me too. I don't want to support each other. I don't want to support each other in division and pain and suffering. I want to stand on top of a mountain and do what I do. Yell, stop it. Stop it. Stop hurting each other. You're hurting yourself first. Everything coming out of your mouth isn't kind. Stop it. I'm addicted to that hilltop. Right, Four Leaf? Oh, Michael. I trust everything Michael says because I've watched him. He travels around the United States being kind. Next thing you know, he pops up in someone's yard playing his guitar. Ukulele? What do you play? Banjo? Humans agree to help each other suffer. What a bunch of wackadoodles. We agree to help each other suffer. Have you ever helped anybody suffer? Mandolin, thank you, Michael, and I didn't mean to make short of it. It's beautiful how you play. Right, Kim? Humans agree to help each other suffer. Have you ever helped somebody suffer? And I didn't even cause it, but I helped them. Yeah, come on, man. I'm your assistant guide on a suffering tour. Let's go. I know how to do this too. We do that. We help each other suffer. If you're being impeccable, you don't. If you have the need to be abused, you're going to find it easy to be abused. You're going to find an abuser very easily. Likewise, if you're with people who need to suffer, something in them makes you abuse them. They're wearing a kick me sign. Why wouldn't you kick them? He asked me to kick him. Of course, I'm helping him. He's wearing a kick me sign. You ever kicked the guy with the kick me sign? He didn't even know he was wearing it half the time. Why didn't I help him take the sign off? Why didn't I say, sir, let's look at how you're wearing that, and maybe we can, you don't need to wear that. You don't need to suffer. We kick each other. Well, I'm pretty sure he was wearing a kick me sign. You can kick me too, I don't mind. Back to media hate. Media does it all the time. They kick each other, they kick everything they see. It's easy to kick when you're not telling the truth. Truth doesn't kick. It just is. Now you're going to take it either way, however you want. You can take it as a hug or you can take it as a kick. Usually the truth hugs me. It says it right here. It's as if you have a note on the back that says, please kick me. People ask for justification for their suffering. You know how many people suffering? Well, at least there's a, at least I feel it, you're choosing that. You're choosing it. Every minute you spend in guilt and anxiety and shame and, I'm suffering. Every moment you spend in that is one moment you're not spending spreading and serving. And I can guarantee you, you guys don't even need to hear this from Pops. You already know it. What feels better? Suffering or serving? Wow. And I get to choose. Suffering versus serving. And I personally get to choose. Nobody chooses for me. You cannot tell me which I have to do. You cannot tell me, you cannot force me, you cannot make me. You do not have the power. You do not have the power to tell me which one I'm going to do and which choice I'm going to make. I have my own power. When I am suffering, I used my own power to get there. Am I right, Woz? When I'm serving, I've used my own power to get there. And we all know it. This is the oldest saw in psychic universe. It feels better to give than anything you'll ever do. The most amazing thing about that concept is the cyclical nature of it is you will automatically receive because you gave. It's like, is that why it felt good? Am I really giving or am I receiving? I love that question. I don't know. I don't care. I just want to give. And then I just want the cycle. I just want the cycle. Well, are you giving because you just want to receive? I don't know. I like the give-receive cycle. I'm just going to dive into that one. Am I in the give or the receive, the give, the receive, the give, the receive? I don't know. But I'm definitely not suffering. If suffering comes through my life, it goes right through the cycle. It gets its tiny season. It gets its just dessert, and that's it. Not one extra amount of time is spent in there because I want to get on my cycle, man. I want to give it serving and receiving, giving, receiving, giving. And this is new to me, you guys. I got to tell you. That's why I'm like, Pops yells everything. I yell when I get passionate about stuff. I'm yelling. I'm passionate to know, to believe, to understand that we give, we receive, and we don't suffer when we don't choose to. Suffering comes through life. Even, so-and-so died. That isn't suffering. How you remember them, how you choose to celebrate their life or death, that's your choice. You can suffer it. You can lay around. You can go through the 7 stages of grief. Some of it's inevitable. I get it. How you choose to manifest is what you're going to get back. Deaths can be sad, but they're nature. They're cycles. It's going to happen. I want to celebrate you. I want to remember you because you were giving and serving. The people I remember the most are the ones that served me. I barely remember somebody that I spent time suffering with. I can't remember any of my drug addict friends' names. I can't. Some psychic thing disappeared. I don't care about them. I don't want to remember them. The people that served me, I still remember my 11th grade literature teacher because he wrote this red thing on the top of one of my pages, said it was the best. I remember him because he served me. He told me I was good. He told me, you're a hell of a smart kid. He served me. My teacher teaching me that I was good. Mr. Enns, I still remember him. 50 years later, he's a dead, gone skeleton. Mr. Enns is in my soul because he served me. Just when I thought I was a knucklehead. I could be the biggest knucklehead in the class. He's going, you're really not a knucklehead. You're the smartest kid in the class. Stop being a class clown. Put your act together. We'll get you into college on a scholarship. Thank you, Mr. Enns. Became my mentor. Served a kid. Can't imagine what a beautiful life he must have had. Spends time serving, making differences in people's lives, impacting them forever, for as long as that person breathes, impacted. Mr. Enns, thank you. I don't know if I've said his name in 10 years, 15, 20 years. See how serving somebody can make a difference? And all he had to do was write a couple of complimentary things on the top of my page and tell me stop being such a wiseacre in class, apply myself. And I was like, what? This guy's got my number. I want to do good in his class. I want to impress Mr. Enns. Next thing you know, I'm trying to figure out how we can, yeah. Thank you, Calico. Think about it. Think about the people that have impacted your life. There were people that served you. They weren't people that made you suffer. Those aren't the people that you care about today. Those aren't the part of your legacy. Those aren't the people you're trying to recreate. I think maybe I want to be Mr. Enns again. Maybe that's one of the reasons I like to teach so much. There, Mr. Phillips, you got one? Mr. Katowski. God, I love that. I love it. I'm ready to cry, you guys. I'm not joking. Because from the power of that man's words, he's changed a little kid that I was well on my way to trade school and getting out of my house when I was 18. And I ended up at UCLA on a scholarship. I think we've said enough for today. Don't take things personally. Remember the power of your word. Humans like to suffer. Don't be one. Move away from suffering. This whole thing with those whole flood stuff, it's all about suffering. Those humans are suffering. Let's not cause more suffering by dividing ourselves further. Let's find a way to lift each other up. Let's find a way to donate. Let's find a way to help. Let's find a way to serve. Let's find a way to be involved. When we participate in the division, we are the division. Don't let them program us. We're so much smarter than the programmer. We're so much smarter than the programmer. Let's have power. Let's keep our personal power. I don't want, it's already there's already plenty of suffering. Why would we bring another people? Why are people coming along and lumping more suffering in? Because they're addicted to it. Not me. Not me. I've broken my suffering addiction. I don't know how many days I got. I don't know how many years. I don't know how many chips I have, but I've broken my addiction to suffering. I have a new addiction. My addiction is serving. And you know what most addictions do? They get stronger every day. Right? My other addictions did. Why won't this one? You guys get where I'm going with that one? This addiction should get better. I hope it does. Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for listening to me. We will see you tomorrow. We're going to keep on going with our mycology classes. We're going to keep teaching ourselves to be good human beings. And let's just keep on laughing as much as we possibly can. Okay? Servant attitude out there. Pops, love, peace. Have a great day, Wazzy and Nerdy and Shiny. And Sandman, thank you. Andy, you're doing a great job. Hip Kitty, nice to see you here. Nerdy smiling as usual. Nerdy serves me with his smile. Jesus Christ, I don't know what you do out there, kid. Four Leaf Luck, I'm kidding. Alan Herbie, Bud, actually you served me with your sarcasm. Love ya. Buddy and Pacers and J.W. Owen, those guys served me by being here and being kind. Michael, you're a man. You're a good man. Pacers and Pennypack, thank you, my love. Pacers, Melody Dawn, you're a blessing. Mellow, not even yellow. Saul, thank you, my friend. Shiny, RX, hell yeah. Cleany, serve us. Come on, get us some buds. D. Anderson, thank you, my best friend. Buddy and Anthony and Streety, you know, Streety Pops is still crushing. Pennypack, Hip Kitty, Joe D's, there he is. Substitute teacher getting all over it. Herbie and Four Leaf and Michael and Edward E. Normus. Calico, like to see you here, Calico Kid. Niffy, she's so sweet. Lakita, thanks for being here. Trent, Vegas, you and I. Elevator time. Shiny, Saul, Nerdy, John Zuck. Laura, have a divine day. Tree, I feel like you're a stump. B. Hendricks, playing it left-handed. D. Anderson, Mike Barbell, Corey, D. 5280. Half the day, no. All day. Laws have something beautiful to say and go out and play. Serve someone today. Joe T's, Melody, Matthew, thank you. Joe, Four Leaf, Michael Patterson, thank you. Thank you, Hippie. And Ray Gardner, first time viewer, please come back, Ray. We're going to give you some donuts tomorrow if you come back. Hey, man, thank you very much. Sivan Ranya, thank you. Herbs, you got served. Cleaning. Joe T's, Mike Barbell, Cat Meowzilla, Billy T, JW, Mellow Yellow, Jesus Christ, in Australia. I was about to put you in America. Justin, you're okay. Pace, Tree Stomp, Greeny, Melody. Sivan, thank you. Real Spill, Mike Barbell. Hip Kitty. Penguin, yeah, man. Emperor Penguin, it's over. But if you come back at 9 a.m. tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, same mush channel, you're going to get served. Paige, Army, Shine, City. Thank you for that nice note this morning. Derek Anderson, Page, Page. Jesus Christ. Joe, Mike, Hippie, Shiny, Pilar, JW, Four Leaf, Jack Lantern, Joe D's, Emperor. See you tomorrow. Get you a donut. Mellow. Waz, you're already getting your first chocolate donuts from Waz. He served you. Melody, JW, Jesus Christ. I'm going to see you guys later. Tomorrow, Pops, peace, love, be impeccable.